big win. Just initial thoughts after that entire dramatic ending.
I'm just glad we won. We stayed together. We stayed the course. I'm just glad we came out with the win.
Chris, you've been on a shooting a tear last few games, over 50% from three-point overall. What's been the difference for you for the last few games here?
I think I'm just shooting it with just a lot of confidence. I think my coaches just, my teammates find me. And, my coaches kind of tell me they don't like any shot that I don't take. So it's just playing with freedom. And, my teammates find me. So, got to help them out a little bit.
You guys had like 8 lead changes, I think, especially coming in the last part of the second half. Talk a little bit about how you guys were feeling like the last 5 minutes or so as things started to get a little tighter and, maybe a little tenser.
Oh, yeah, it was a real close game, real good game. I felt like we just trusted each other defensively, trusted each other to help get the rebound and help each other crash and just finish the play and then just execute the offense on the other end.
Both of you guys, what's the significance of this win?
I think for us, just, it's another quad one opportunity at home, and it's, just keep winning games. I don't think we listen to the rat poison out there of, if you win this game, you're in the tournament. I think we take it day by day. So, next game is Wake Forest, and then we'll take it by then.
Can you guys talk about what it meant for you to have the football team out there cheering you on and just the energy of the students along with them?
Yeah, it was great. I feel like that's the first time I've seen them in here. I definitely feel like they made a difference. They missed a lot of free throws, so they came out here to support us, so I'll make sure to do the same when it's their turn.
Hey, Justin, you started off slow, but you came up super clutch. How do you keep your focus in such a big-time game and make sure you're always contributing to the well-being of the team?
Yeah, my coaches believe in me. My teammates believe in me. So I would just say staying aggressive. I know I can play through turnovers. I know they all believe in me and they all trust in me. So staying aggressive and just trying to help my team win.
For either or both of you guys, you got Lee Dor back today. What was it like just to have him in the middle again?
I just think it's just another key piece that we just didn't have, right? So I think monster on the glass, obviously, creates presence when rolling to the basket on offense. I think he did a great job today,
Help defense was really aggressive tonight. 6 first-half steals. That's over your season average, actually, for the whole game. Talk a little about that defensive strategy. You guys were really attacking the ball handler all game.
I would just say being in the gaps. It's a lot easier when you're guarding the ball and, you got someone to your left and someone to your right that's going to be there if they try to drive by you. So just trusting each other and just being in there to rake the ball out and run on the other end.
It wasn't Day Ames' night tonight, but the offense still, especially you two, found a way to keep going. How big is that for you guys when one of your top scorers isn't really shooting the ball well to just kind of pick them up?
It's big. I feel like we all trust the offense. We all know it's not going to be someone's night every night. So we just trust the offense, trust the coaches. And, I feel like when it's someone's night, we kind of figure it out and just keep them going.
For both of you guys, why has your production increased so much this year from last year?
I played 6 minutes last year. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm just playing more consistently. I think it's, when you have, a lot of people say when you play, you get better. So I think just being out there, in the year, it just, you get better as you play. So.
Now, this was another game that free throws had a really important factor. Justin, you went 6 for 7, and Chris, you went 2 for 2. Can you just talk about how you guys emphasized that during practice?
You got it? I'll get it. No.
I think for us, we're one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country. So I think just for us, just always being focused and just take your time. I think for us, we got a bunch of really good shooters on our team, and so obviously it's free points, so you don't want to miss out on those.
Kind of building off a similar question, for both of you guys, you've had different journeys in your collegiate careers, but how special is it for both of you to be really important at Cal? Like Justin, career high night, again, 24 points. Chris Bell, always, 15, 20 points, whatever it is. Both of you guys, from where you were before, are really here, big deals here.
I feel like it feels great. I feel like we got such great team chemistry. And, I feel like I'm on a staff and with a group of guys that all love each other. It's just great. I feel like we're playing basketball. It's the most fun.
Chris, 3 straight games with 20-plus points and 3 straight wins. What's been clicking for you over these past 3 games, especially as we're coming to the end of the season? What's been really working for you over this past run?
Just being aggressive. I think my teammates do a great job of finding me. I think during the year, I was kind of uncomfortable taking, super contested shots or things like that. But I think now is just like having the freedom to, I can take those shots and, I'm not going to get in trouble for taking those. So, just having that confidence and, it comes with the belief and then my teammates and my coaches. It's just all those guys. So I thank them for real.
Justin, the dunk in the fast break there, tell me a little bit about that one. It looked like you wanted that one going up for it.
I seen the replay. I got kicked in my foot. So if you go back and you watch it again, I seen the replay. As soon as I jumped, he kicked my foot. I seen the replay.
We'll let them believe that.
They can go watch the game back and see it. Just make sure you slow down and zoom in.
Wanted to send out a huge acknowledgement to the university administration, Rich Lyons, Jenny and Jay, the fan base. That atmosphere out there tonight was second to none. It helped us win this game in a tangible way. You had Tosh Lapoy, as busy as he is right now, preparing to lead an amazing football team. He was out here tonight with himself, probably a lot of staff members, and what looked like most, if not all, of the Cal football team. You had JKS, who my staff told me was up there leading the crowd to ice the other team when they were on the free throw line. So that's probably the number one quarterback in the nation, a guy who has pure NFL talent out there with his leadership, just absolutely leading this community. And so gratitude to everybody, gratitude to administration, the football team, to JKS, and everyone that came tonight. It was a big win. Grateful to our players. I mean, we'll talk about the players here in a second, but we had some guys really step up. And I'll just start with Justin Pippen. Had an okay first half, but to finish with 24 points, he had the rebounds, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steals. Justin Pippen was special out there, and he made huge plays when it mattered. But everybody on the team did. With that, let's open it to questions.
Yeah, Coach, you talked a lot about leadership in the opening statement, and you got Lee Dort back out there tonight. And what do you feel he meant on the floor as like a leader, and then his impact on the stat lines?
Lee Dort is one of our emotional leaders in the locker room. Lee Dort is someone who always is completely locked in on game plan. He's the guy that, in the game plan, he'll ask the questions, like he will ask the tough questions on the game plan because he has such a tremendous basketball IQ. Lee Dort had 10 rebounds. Lee Dort had 10 rebounds in 22 minutes. He had a huge block shot. He knocked down shots. Lee had 2 assists. Lee was tremendous out there. His presence. You could feel the energy on our team when he went into the game. You can feel the confidence that Lee's teammates have for him when he goes in.
You guys came away with 14. You forced 14 turnovers today, and you had 8 on your own side. So how were you able to emphasize protecting the ball and come away with more physical defense?
That's probably a question for the staff and the assistant coaches, because it's the staff, and I can't say enough about this coaching staff. These guys are working with the players every day, individual film sessions. We take kind of an NBA model of player development, individual film sessions, individual on-court work, and that's supplemented with the whole team practice. But we work on ball control. We work on, and we track deflections. A lot of teams do. But we have specific ways that we like to create those. And the guys did a great job of that tonight.
Coach, when you and I talked in August, you called for at least 20 wins this year. You've hit that number tonight. How do you feel you've developed as a coach and your staff over the last 3 years to get to, obviously, your most successful season so far here at Cal?
Well, thanks for the question, Don. So last year we had to ask ourselves a lot of very difficult questions over the summer because our defense was not good enough. And so we really tried to look at some of the best defensive coaches that have been part of this game. Philosophies, culture. You look at a guy down at Houston like a Kelvin Sampson. And really, they have great schemes, but a lot of teams have great schemes. They have a world-class culture down at Houston. And so you try to learn from some of the greats. Kelvin is a guy who's built culture everywhere he's been. So we thought that we had a good culture, Don. We want it to be a great culture. And there are role models of programs out there that we can emulate to create our own culture. You look at a guy like a Tony Bennett and what he did at Virginia. For years, it was one of the top defenses. Again, culture, X's and O's, key principles. And we have a long way to go to even try to emulate a lot of what they do. But we're taking those steps to try to get there every single day, and we try to get lost in process.
Coach, you guys ran a bit of a scoring drought in the middle of the second half in response to that 1-3-1 from SMU, kind of denying the ball into the corners. What was really giving the guys trouble during that period, and how did you guys kind of overcome that sort of towards the end when you guys started scoring a bit more?
Yeah, SMU has a good zone. I mean, they ran it a bunch of possessions against Boston College. They ran it a bunch of possessions against Syracuse, against Louisville. They've been running it. And so, you know, SMU did a good job of just changing the rhythm. We got tentative, which is what the zone is supposed to do. Once our guys got aggressive, we were able to do a pretty good job of attacking it the way we wanted to attack it. And you saw us slicing to the rim, attacking closeouts, getting open shots. We missed some open shots. But our guys did a nice job of settling in and being able to attack the zone.
Yeah, what would you say is the importance of this win?
Jake, it's huge. It's huge. And as a basketball coach, as someone that played, we're going to enjoy this win for another 3 hours. You know, we'll enjoy it until 5 a.m. tomorrow when we start waking up, you know, and as we get here for our morning meetings, then no more enjoyment because we have a huge test in Pitt coming in here. But this is meaningful because our goal has always been, since we got here, and we said it, Jake, make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. We said it early on. We clearly defined it. We're not there yet. We're not in the NCAA tournament. We have a long way to go to try to make it, but this was an important step, building block in that direction.
Coach, kind of following up on that, you know, there was a lot of hype around this game. Obviously, it was a huge game as you guys pursue a tournament bid. How do you feel like your guys have been able to sort of block out all the outside noise and just focus and perform like they did tonight?
Because we have great players on this team. You know, I mentioned Pip by name. I mentioned Lee Dort by name. You have T.T. Carr as a freshman going out there and playing fearless basketball. You have two veterans, John Camden and Chris Bell, that just don't get rattled. You have Day-Day Ames, who I cannot say enough about Day-Day Ames. He's the guy, everybody on the team just loves him. He comes from an area that has tremendous basketball heritage in Chicago. He's one of our best defenders. He can pretty much do everything on the court. He can pass, dribble, and shoot. And to have a guy like that everyone looks up to, that leads by example, that Day-Day wants us to coach him hard, and we do. And because we can coach Day-Day hard, we can coach everybody hard. And, you know, really the players, these guys are the ones putting the hard work in and getting better every day.
Coach, you just mentioned the two veterans, Chris Bell, John Camden. With Senior Day coming up on this Saturday, just what has it meant to have those guys in the locker room with the experience that they've accumulated over their careers?
I'll start with Chris. Chris is someone who, and I noticed it early on, he has kind of the work habits of an NBA player because he's always getting his routine shots after every single practice. We had a practice over the summer where we absolutely killed the guys. Suicides, 5-on-5 for a long time. And after some of those practices, everyone's spent. They just leave the gym immediately. Chris was in there with his routine, with his work, and that has served him extremely well, and it will serve him extremely well in his basketball career, which is going to be very long, and in his life. You know, John Camden is similar in terms of work ethic. His work ethic, John's, is absolutely off the charts. John is someone who, it doesn't matter if John misses 5 shots in a row, he's going to continue to shoot. He's going to continue to attack. He's going to continue to make his teammates around him better. And so to have two guys like that, there's no way we would be here at this point in time without two players like that.
Last question, Hattie. Coach, SMU took 11 more free throws than you guys, and you guys still made more free throws than them. How have you guys sort of emphasized free throw shooting, especially when it came down to free throws in the clutch? And how have you sort of emphasized that amongst the guys, and it's leading to maybe the best free throw percentage in the ACC right now?
Look, we work on free throw shooting. We work on every team works on their free throw shooting, and then recruit great shooters. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Recruit great shooters that when they step up to that line, they're not afraid. You know, we were up 3, and Lee Dort went to the free throw line. We needed one made free throw, and he went up there and knocked down the first one. Just absolutely calm, absolutely unfazed by the moment, and it was a huge play because at that point, with 2.5 seconds left, it puts the game out of reach. And so that's been a big part of our success is the free throw shooting that you pointed out. Guys, thanks so much for coming out. Appreciate it.